The timing and the duration of Yeshua's ministry is a different fulfillment of the second of three layers. Daniel's 77 messianic prophecy. Of Daniel of 70 Shovium 7 prophecy. Understanding that Yeshua fulfilled his role as Passover lamb in exactly 70 weeks is prerequisite to understand the other two layers of Daniel's prophecy, which must and will be fulfilled before the Messiah returns. While I, Daniel, was speaking in prayer and growing weary with fatigue about the time of the evening oblation, I saw a vision that began with the man Gabriel, who touched me and spoke with me, saying, "O Daniel, I have been sent to give you wisdom and understanding. At the beginning of your supplications, I received word that I was to come to you and proclaim that you are greatly beloved. Therefore, understand this communication and vision. 77 are determined upon the people and upon the holy city to bring an end to the rebellion and to complete the sin offerings and to atone for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to authenticate the vision and the prophet and to anoint the most holy. Known be therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince there shall be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. The temple courtyard and the city wall shall be built again in troubled times. And after 62 sevens shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Then the people of the prince that shall come and shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Its end will come like a flood. In the end of the battle, horrors are decreed. But he, Messiah, the Prince, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 7. And in the midst of the 7, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, because of the spreading of abominations. He, the Prince that shall come, shall make it desolate until the end. That which is decreed shall be poured out upon the desolators. Daniel 9:21 to 27, Chronological King James Version. 77 sevens, 62 sevens, after 62 sevens, 1 7 in the midst of 7, the angel Gabriel gave Daniel a prophetic code, which was so mathematically complex it could not be deciphered until the generation in which knowledge is increased and men to run to and fro, as the angel paraphrased. Daniel 12:4. By the first decade in the 21st century, the composite knowledge base of humankind had doubled in just 1 year. And men were actually running to and fro at speeds measured at nanoseconds. The scientific knowledge gleaned from NASA's space program had allowed mankind to calculate the celestial and historic events of antiquity to within 1/1,000,000th of a day. We can now decipher the Creator's celestial and terrestrial time clock with heretofore incalculable accuracy. Astrophysics finally allows us to understand that which was penned thousands of years ago in Genesis 1:14, that the Creator put the heavenly bodies in their course to determine the passage of days and years for signs in the heavens, and to set the modium example, the appointed times of our Creator, also called the feasts of the Lord. The modern Jewish calendar, invented in 359 Common Era by Hillel II, was based on mathematical astronomy rather than an original method of observed astronomy, combined with archaeological considerations in the land of Israel. The last act of the Sanhedrin, which had been exiled to the city of Tiberias, was to change the Creator's reckoning of time and eternal laws that govern when we are to keep the feast of the Lord, Daniel 7:25. At the time, the hands were broken from the face of the Creator's clock, and a calculated calendar of convenience was offered in its place. Initially, they calculated around the globe, but subsequently, both the Creator original reckoning of time and the accuracy of the prophetic shadow pictures of good things to come that are embedded in the feast of the Lord are lost to antiquity. The calendar that was in use during the time of Yeshua, as well as the gospel chronology, became shrouded in the midst of forgotten times. The restoration of the Creator original calendar in the land of Israel during the past 2 decades has proven to be the lost master key that has unlocked the chronological mysteries in the gospel. With unimagined clarity, we can now decipher significant events in the life and ministry of Yeshua, as well as contemplate the ramifications of each compelling layer of Daniel's 77's prophecy. The chronological gospels, the life and 70-week ministry of the Messiah, will uncover the prophetic realities that were buried in antiquity, yet are being revealed in the last days as promised to Daniel while he languished in exile. The second layer of Daniel's prophecy, the 70-week ministry of Messiah, has now been revealed in the chronology of the first four gospel records, beckoning us to explore the third layer now knocking at the door. The final layers will be fulfilled in the fifth gospel, the book of the revelation of Yeshua, Messiah. The gospel of the kingdom declared. Just 2 days before his execution, Yeshua instructed his disciples, the gospel of the kingdom must be preached in all the world for a witness, Matthew 24:14. He was referring to the same gospel or good news that he and his disciples were preaching throughout the Galilee long before the disciples understood anything about Yeshua's death or resurrection. Yes, this was the good news that heaven confirmed the signs, miracles, wonders 9 months before his passion. Yeshua and his disciples taught the gospel of the kingdom in both words and deeds, inflaming the wrath of 2 religious systems, that of the Perusium, the Pharisees, and that of the priesthood of the Zadokium, Sadducees. Yet this good news remains relatively unknown and unused among those who profess to be followers today. To understand the gospel record and the good news Yeshua taught his disciples, it is imperative that we understand the foundational principles of Torah Moses delivered to us on Mount Sinai, as well as the developing first century religious system of the both Pharisees and Sadducees. With this basic understanding, the gospel record will come alive as we see Yeshua deliberately violating the rules of man-made religion while clarifying, illustrating, and reinforcing the everlasting instructions of the Torah. Before discussing the various sects of Judaism, the dominated the religion landscape of Israel in the days of Yeshua, one must first dig back to the foundation of the Torah, which had become deliberately buried in the vanguards of Pharisaic Judaism. To this day, the foundational principles of the scriptures remain completely obscured from the myopic vision of the Gentile Christian world. But without the foundation, the gospel of the kingdom would never be understood, and Yeshua's proclamation that he did not come to do away with the Torah, which remains the most ignored prophetic utterance in the history of Christendom. The foundational commandments of the Torah was received at Mount Sinai in the stem warning for the Almighty against adding or our own rules, negating the commandments he gave us through Moses, or tampering with his word. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither